So, in all 11 years of my education, I've not learned a whole lot about ancient Egypt, just some bits and pieces here and there. In my experience, when people think of ancient Egypt, their minds instantly think of this, and even the Indiana Jones movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Considering most of my knowledge comes from just these few aspects, it does not do ancient Egyptians justice. Diving deeper into ancient Egypt, I have found several fascinating pieces of information, specifically about the Valley of the Kings. The Valley of the Kings is incredible. I rarely hear anything about the valley. The pyramids and the secret tombs were always more well known than the valley. The valley may not be as famous, yet it still holds the same valuable information found in the pyramids. The intricate tomb lies on the western bank of the Nile River in Luxor, Egypt. Here it served its purpose as the permanent resting place to all the Egyptian elites, pharaohs, queens, high priests, nobles, and even their children. The Valley of Kings was developed over centuries and has quickly become one of the largest excavation sites in the world. Inside is a very intricate system of 63 tombs stretching all around the Nile River. Here is a look at part of what the inside looks like. The walls are filled with art and writing, and the architecture is beautiful. Diving deeper into the tombs, treasures, jewelry, paintings, art, clothing, statues, food, drinks, sacred objects, and pets can all be found. The excavations and findings that occurred in the Valley of the Kings has proved to be a turning point in world knowledge about ancient Egyptian royalty, as it provided an abundance of new information pertaining to everyday life in ancient Egypt. Of course, this massive piece of architecture did not grow from the ground, so to better understand exactly what the Valley of the Kings is and why it was built, it is necessary to recall the history of ancient Egypt. Ancient civilization can be traced back for thousands of years. The first civilization in Egypt settled along the Nile River, where the annual flood was crucial to the prosperity of their crop yield. This led to increasing worship of gods and goddesses. The rest of Egyptian history can be broken down into three categories: the Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms. The Old Kingdom laid a foundation for advancing architecture. They started building the first pyramids. During this time, the upper and lower parts of Egypt were not unified. However, once the two parts became unified, divine kingship was firmly established. Divine kingship is the idea that the ruler of Egypt held their power by favor of the gods and goddesses, and they were a living incarnation of God. The rulers chosen for divine kingship were held to the same authority and respect as the gods. This idea of divine kingship heavily influenced the building of the Valley of the Kings. When the New Kingdom was in its peak, big temples and tombs were constructed for royalty and nobility. This officially marked the beginning of the new royal burial ground, the Valley of the Kings. New tombs were added during the 18th, 19th, and 20th Egyptian dynasties. These tombs held some of the most famous pharaohs, such as Ramses II, Hatshepsut, and King Tut. The tombs were built to honor the pharaohs and to guarantee that they would be reconnected with the gods in the afterlife. All this knowledge would not be known had people not explored the tombs. The first evidence of people exploring the tombs ties back to ancient civilizations. The tombs were used as a tourist attraction for the Romans long before the excavation sites started. Since this time, it has also been very common for tomb raiders to steal artifacts and leave graffiti wherever they explored. Proper excavations started about 3 centuries ago. People heard about the wondrous tombs held in Thebes, and several people tried to reach them. The official location of Thebes was incredibly difficult to find, which resulted in only a handful of people to actually find the valley. Most confused neighboring cities for Thebes. One of the first travelers to record his experiences at Thebes was a Danish traveler named Frederick Louis Norden. Continuing advances were made in the in the exploration when Richard Pukake published the first map of the area in 1743. Napoleon Bonaparte even launched an expedition in 1799 and ordered his crew to draw maps and plans of all the known tombs. It is worth noting that this party was also the first to record information about the Western Valley tombs. As time passed and more excavations were put into place, the knowledge of ancient Egyptians grew exponentially. The 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries are also credited with great findings. Thebes became more well known, therefore more progresses were made. The most notable successes include Jean-Francois Champion, translating hieroglyphics, Henry Salt discovering several new tombs, and John Gardner Wilkinson numbering every tomb from KV1 to KV21, which still stands today. Champion's ability to translate the hieroglyphics was such an important advancement. Hieroglyphics was the ancient writing system, so they gave an insight into daily life, government, religion, rituals, record-keeping, and overall a new insight into ancient Egypt. They helped researchers make connections between artifacts and the significances they held. This breakthrough discovery had assisted researchers while exploring the tombs. According to History.com, the main sources of information about ancient Egypt are the many monuments, objects, and artifacts that have been recovered from archaeological sites, covered with hieroglyphs that have only recently been deciphered. So, his translation of the hieroglyphs and the other evidence found by other explorers has greatly contributed to our understanding of ancient Egypt. Another example to further prove how insightful the tombs were to ancient Egyptian royalty is King Tut's tomb. On November 4th, 1922, Howard Carter, a British archaeologist, found King Tut's tomb. Today, King Tut is so famous and well known, partly because there was so much information about his life in the tomb. Inside, treasures fit for a king were found. Howard Carter recorded his first opinion of the tombs in his journal, saying, "It was full of one mass of furniture, an utter confusion of boxes, chairs, beds, alabaster and vases, statuettes, cases of peculiar form, and everything sort of that thing overturned." Some other items he found included the clothing and jewelry of a king, flowers and ceremonial items, shrines, furniture, and statues made from gold. Along with the mummy of King Tut, plus the hieroglyphics, the team was able to extract enough information to compile King Tut's life story. Biography.com writes, "The king accomplished little during his reign, but became famous when his intact tomb was found," showing how influential the research of the Valley of the Kings really is. Just because his tomb was untouched is the reason why he is so well known today in our world. He wasn't necessarily an important pharaoh, but his tomb provided so information that he did become an important pharaoh. The evidence found in the Valley of the Kings has proved to be the most influential on our knowledge about ancient Egyptian royalty. The hieroglyphs combined with the artifacts has the power to explain an important part of Egyptian life. If the tombs were never excavated, most of the knowledge about ancient Egypt would be unknown today. The Valley of the Kings has played the most significant role in our learning about the history of ancient Egyptian pharaohs and nobility.